Good afternoon, good morning, welcome to Channel 44. I am Mercy Gashegu-Sembati to bring you this morning's news update live here on Channel 44 together with Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpretation and translation, and Bill Clinton.
Yeah, you phoned me asking Mercy whom she is supporting for Selele district today, and that's why she first shook her head here and there. But we're here to give you the updates of our papers today and the international news we have for you. I will begin with the Daily Monitor for you. In the Daily Monitor headlines, Kenya to buy a huge consignment of Uganda maize. Kenya authorities have said they will in the coming month buy a large amount of maize from Uganda to fix the high demand in the neighboring country following a poor yield last season across maize growing. That story on page 9. That is for the good relationships we have yielded with Kenya. In the other stories, moral high grounds as Lent season starts. Page 2, it shows you the moral ethics of this Lent period. Minister faces censor over relief iron sheets. This is not to end today, so they have a story for you. Karamoja Parliamentary Group has raised the ant over mismanagement of relief items meant for the vulnerable kinsmen. They now want heads to roll, particularly that of Karamoja Affairs Minister Mary Goretti Chitutu, who is baking in the sun over accusation of diverting thousands of pieces of iron sheets. This is on page 4 of this story. To run through, government recruits 2,500 teachers but fails to deploy them. Wow. Page 6 of the Daily Monitor. Take us through the New Vision.
In today's New Vision, Uganda's police report indicates a crime rate up by 18%. They bring you Uganda's most risky districts on page 1, page 5 of today's New Vision. And also President Museveni launches Uzima water plant. They bring you His Excellency commissioning the Uzima National Mineral Water Production Plant in Kachiri, Wachiso district. He was flanked by the Defense Minister Vincent Sempija, NEC General Manager Lieutenant General James Mujira, Uzima General Manager Brigadier General Emmanuel Shiringi, and other senior Ugandan People's Defense Forces yesterday. Details are on page 3 of today's New Vision. And Karamoja members of Parliament give censure notice. It's also in the New Vision today. Bill brought it to us in the Daily Monitor. And there are other stories. On Markets Bill, vendors react to Museveni's stand on page 6. And Nagirinya Kira gets 40 years in jail. The High Court Judge Isaac Muwata yesterday sentenced Isaac Sennabulia, aka Kisunsu, to 40 years behind bars after convicting him of the murder of social worker Maria Nagirinya and her driver Ronald Kitayimbwa. Details on page 12 of today's New Vision. And presidential tour. On the presidential tour, issues actually want addressed. They bring the issues that the actually people want addressed. And also there are over 110,000 census jobs up for grabs. Get yourself a copy of today's New Vision and see the census jobs that are up for grabs in today's New Vision. And they bring you the new curriculum, S2 Physics and Math, and Senior 6 Entrepreneurship. And also over 75 tender opportunities at different organizations, all in today's New Vision. Bill,
outside the Pearl of Africa, that is outside Uganda, we shall start with Saturday's presidential election in Nigeria. May come to be remembered as the moment when young people, spurred on by the 2020 EdSARS and policy brutality, protests that morphed into calls for good governance, millions of young people have registered as first-time voters, hoping to elect a president from a relatively unknown party to represent them and bring change. Though the protests were brutally halted by the army, the disbandment of the SARS police unit, notorious for profiling young people, was considered a success. That seems to have galvanized young Nigerians frustrated by decades of stagnation, insecurity, and high unemployment in Africa's most populous country, and now they are targeting the highest office in the land.
And in Mozambique, people living in areas prone to flooding in the southern province of Gaza will be forcefully removed amid heavy rains, the authorities have confirmed. A planned release of water from the Masingir Dam could also result in death, according to the Provincial Secretary of State, Lorenzo Lidonde. Gaza is also likely to be affected by Cyclone Freddy, which has caused destruction in the island of Madagascar. And elsewhere, UN head Antonio Guterres has condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine as an affront to the world's collective science at a meeting of the General Assembly nearly 1 year on. The meeting was debating a motion backed by Ukraine and its allies, demanding Russia to pull out immediately and unconditionally. Ukraine hopes that by supporting the motion, countries will show solidarity. The Kremlin has accused the West of wanting to defeat Russia at any cost. Vasyl Nebenzia, the Kremlin's ambassador to the United Nations, said the US and its allies were prepared to plunge the entire world into war.
In the beloved city, Israel, troops have killed at least 11 Palestinians and wounded dozens more during a raid in occupied West Bank, Palestine, health officials report. Explosions and gunfire sounded as troops entered the old city of Nablus on Wednesday morning, sparking armed clashes with Palestine gunmen. The Israel military said it killed 3 wanted militants holed up inside a house who refused to surrender. Several of those killed outside were civilians, including 2 elderly men. The Palestine's health ministry said 72-year-old Adnan Sebebara was one of them. Video footage probably showed in his body in a street next to bags of bread in what is usually a busy market area.
And in the United States, a fierce winter storm has caused widespread disruptions while southeastern parts of the country brace for record high temperatures. As of yesterday, about 75 million people in 28 states have been placed under winter weather alerts. Blizzards in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin have forced many schools and businesses to close. Meanwhile, high temperatures in Washington, D.C. are expected to break a nearly 150-year-old record. It means some parts of the United States will be 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 38 degrees Celsius warmer than others at the same time. Powerful wind gusts potentially reaching 50 meters per hour and a wind chill as low as 50 degrees Fahrenheit in some parts are predicted. And also, former U.S. President Donald Trump has accused federal officials of indifference to an Ohio town that is reeling from a toxic train derailment. On a visit to East Palestine, Mr. Trump claimed his presence had spurred the Biden administration to devote more resources to this month's crash. Local residents have expressed frustrations at what they saw as lack of answers from officials. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is expected to visit today. Mr. Trump met East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway during yesterday's visit. He was later joined by his son Donald Trump Jr., Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance, and Congressman Bill Johnson.
Still in the U.S. Department of Defense has released an image taken by an airman as he flew over the Chinese balloon shot down earlier this month. The selfie was taken from the cockpit of AU-2 spy plane as a military leader tracked the high-altitude balloon's progress over the continental U.S. Beijing has maintained that the balloon was a weather ship blown off course, but Washington says the balloon was part of a sprawling Chinese intelligence collection program. As the balloon flew over U.S. territory, at least 2 planes gathered information on its features and trajectory.
Well, being a meteorologist in Southern California might seem easy. Every day is usually sunny and warm, but this week's winter storm is challenging the area's forecasters to issue unusual alerts. Just east of Los Angeles, there's been a blizzard warning unheard in those parts. That was meteorologist Evelyn Tuff of station KCAL. She's been covering California weather for nearly 14 years, and she stresses that this is a bizarre weather event for Southern California, known locally as SoCal. It's very unbelievable, according to her. And also in Canada, the military has said it recently discovered evidence of Chinese surveillance efforts in the Arctic. The discovery, first reported by Canadian newspaper The Globe and Mail, has raised questions about China's activities in the far north. It comes after a suspected Chinese spy balloon floated through the United States and Canadian airspace before it was shot down by the U.S. military. China has also been recently accused of interfering with Canadian elections. Monitoring buoys were discovered and retrieved last fall as part of Operation Limpid, an ongoing mission by the Canadian military tasked with identifying threats to the country's security by surveilling air, land, and sea domains.
Lastly, from Bill Clinton, rescuers have found the bodies of all 4 people on board a small plane which crashed into an active Philippine volcano last week. Authorities on Thursday confirmed the death of the 2 Filipino pilots and 2 Australian passengers. Search teams had scoured the slopes of the Mayun volcano since Sunday when the aircraft wreckage was spotted about 300 meters, that is 985 feet from the crater. Teams now face the challenge of safely retrieving the bodies, officials said. Local Filipino authorities say they will investigate the cause of the plane's crash.
Well, that brings us to the end of this morning's news update. Thank you for watching Channel 44. We'll meet again at 12:45 with fresh news update here on Channel 44. Stay tuned. Bill, you have something for our viewers?
We have to just wait for the details in the afternoon bulletin, but then you have to confirm to the people who you're supporting for Selele District today.
I support the winner. Whoever will emerge winner is who I support. Well, you need to update us on which platforms you can find Channel 44. One thing I know is that we are continuing to help the people of Karamoja. Send your seed, join us once again. Send your seed to the numbers that will be available during the services, or you can bring your seed in during the services. We are having revival nights every day. And once you sow your seed, you're given a pack of Holy Communion that has anointing oil, the bread, and the blood, and that will help you enhance your spiritual life. Bill.
This is not for you, but to the friends who ask you so many questions about where they can find the best name in television, Channel 44. Advise them that on DSTV, we are on 297, and then GoTV, we are on 812. Star Times, we are on 290. Zuku TV, we are on 056. Azam TV, 152. Then Free to Air, we are on 12. We are also on your TV, then Afro Mobile app, we are there, Airtel TV. Then Smart Times Satellite, you shall get us at 468.
Thank you for watching. We'll meet again at 12:45. I remain Mercy Gashegu Sembata and Livingstone Kawesa together with the...
No, here is Bill Clinton.
Good morning.